fancy photos.
Right.
That takes whatever. You do a minute and 40 seconds of we're the greatest in the world, so and so. You do a minute of the title girl telling you how wonderful title insurance is. You do another minute and a half. You're done.
Right. I don't think anything else.
Welcome back to Selling with Sal, the show that brings you new listings and insight from Miami to you. I'm your host and fellow peer, John Porter, here with Sal Davidi of Davidi Realty. The topic of the week, Sal, is now I'm ready to sign a contract. What do I do?
Well, again, in the other shows, we've kind of taken this in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about finding the house, what the best way to find it is, what the best way to make an offer is, and stuff like that. Now I think we're at the point where we've already seen the house. We've decided the house, we want to make an offer.
Right.
What do we need to look at in the actual sales contract so we know that we're making a contract that makes sense for what we're looking to do?
Okay.
We have an expert coming on to help you out not much more than I am, but the basic idea is, obviously the contract talks about who the buyer is, who the seller is, what you're buying, what are the appliances you're getting, and then obviously the most important thing is the price you want to make the offer on, your down payment, and your financing.
Okay.
It also talks about the time you want to inspect the property from the time the offer is accepted. Understand, just because you submit the offer to the potential seller doesn't mean they're going to take that offer.
Right.
So you could submit, let's say, 100, and it's listed for 120, and that person could counter or even not counter you and be stuck on the 120.
Okay.
So again, those are steps you kind of work through, and that's what a realtor will help you with. But it's not just as simple as throw a number out and hope you get an answer back.
Well, and these are we found our expert, just like a couple of our experts have told us. Basically, you need an expert. You need someone to. It'd be the best way to do it is if you have found someone to do it. We've made the offer. Is there anything that we look at in the contract specifically, like, I don't know, you mentioned appliances, you mentioned, is there anything in the contract, like any holes or anything?
I mean, the most important thing, obviously, is a price that you agree you can work on the house with.
Price is the biggest thing?
You qualify.
Okay.
Well, I think also the inspections are a big time frame, are a big issue. I think the your approval process for your mortgage, some contracts have a very, very small window to get approved. That's important to you. You know, who covers certain expenses.
Right.
You know, it's in some cases it's a 10 or 15 page document.
Right.
So that's again where it's important that you know what you're signing. In most cases, the actual realtor will make the offer for you. What are the questions you have to ask?
Right. Is there any this might be a different topic, but
Okay.
Is there any debt, liens, or should I worry about that, or is that the realtor's job to worry about that in the contract? Do I have to pay the debt or the liens?
I mean, in most cases, the obligations to cover out what's owed on the property is the seller's responsibility.
Okay.
But again, it's a good question to ask, because I've seen situations where the house has liens, and you've got to buy your property subject to those liens.
Okay.
Again, those are questions you need to ask. It's like I said, you would put in your mind the most important thing is the price.
Right.
But there's other stuff on the contract that will affect you dramatically also. So again, the idea is to go through the contract, talk to an expert, listen to our expert now, and then make the offer you best understand.
Okay, cool. Good segue to the expert of the week. We'll be right back with the property of the week after the expert of the week. We're here with the expert of the week, Hector Pena. Hector, thank you for coming on. Before we get into the topic of the week, why don't we hear a brief history about you or All World Title?
Oh, absolutely. We've been in business over 11 years now, going on 11 years, and I've been an attorney for about 11 years as well in the real estate and civil litigation arena, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, cool. We've been recently, before episodes, we're trying to buy a home. We're acting as if we were a first-time home buyer. And we got our finances in order, we made a couple offers, we've talked to some realtors, some mortgage people. Now we're at the contract. As a lawyer, with your experience, what do you think, what should we look at, what should we do, a little bit of your opinion on the process?
Well, absolutely. I think the contract is obviously an important part of the real estate transaction in that it will control your closing, it will control your fees, it's going to control any post-occupancy that the seller or the buyer need to agree to, and all that stuff should be agreed to in advance. It's very important to understand that it's a legal binding document, and there's some risk involved for the buyer if they don't properly conduct themselves throughout the transaction.
Okay. Should I get a lawyer in this process? Should my realtor get a lawyer? Is this...
I think it's important to at least have a review of the contract, and that the person who's entering into that contract understands what they're entering into. I've recently, last year and the beginning of this year, we've had a lot of escrow disputes. And so for buyers, they should be aware of that yes, sellers do keep deposits.
Okay. Is there anything specific when buying a property that I should look at, or this is purely on the lawyer's side? Don't try to do it yourself. Go get a professional to do this.
No, I think you should give yourself enough time in the inspection period section. That way you have a little bit of leeway if you want to back out. Generally, if you use the as-is residential purchase and sale agreement, which is the standard agreement, the FAR agreement, it will have a section there, I believe it's section 12, the inspection section, and you can give yourself 10, 15 days. Some sellers don't like to do that, but if you have 7 to 10 days, generally you have a good opportunity to at least look at the house and make sure that you really want to go through with the transaction.
Okay, last question. If I see something on the contract that I don't like, should I try to change it? Should my lawyer try to change it, or should I just back away from the deal completely, in your opinion?
No, if you see something you don't like, and obviously you haven't signed the contract,
right.
I think that will be
time to dispute, or
time to either negotiate that factor or get a lawyer involved in order to get any negotiations started or reassert it.
Okay, cool. Hector, do you have anything else to say for anything of this, or?
No, just with contracts, make sure you understand it's a legal binding document, and if you fail to act as per the contract, you may lose your deposit, or other consequences may be there as well.
Okay, cool. Hector, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with the property of the week. Thanks again to our expert of the week, and now we're going to move on to the property of the week. Sal, the property of the week this week is 2591 Southwest 143rd Court, Miami, Florida.
Well, our listings again. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, been remodeled. We're asking $385, and again, a great price point. Right in the western part of town, probably about 10 minutes from the Turnpike and about 10 minutes from FIU University. Again, enjoy the photos. Any questions, call us.
Okay, Sal. Anything else for this week, Sal? To wrap it up. Anything on? How's the show going so far?
Yeah, I think we're taking the right steps. Again, we've started with how to find the house. We've talked about how to make the offer. We've talked about how to get price the house. We're taking them as I believe, in my experience, have seen these deals go.
Right.
So again, every week we'll have a new topic, and we're slowly getting through the process of closing on our dream home.
Okay.
But there's steps, and we're doing it one at a time.
Right. Well, we appreciate all of you for watching. Thanks again, Sal, for the lesson. And from DeViti Realty, we wish you a good day and so on.